to do my return to streaming in the form of a topic that I actually care about a lot, and I'm going to do it from outside. So there's going to be a lot of noises and factors and possible stream bombers out here, but I have to do it here because I'm having trouble with my connection and I want to do it today. And as an entitled American that I am, when I say I want something today, I mean I want something today. So on Twitter, I discovered this account called Introvert Problems, and I fell down a rabbit hole with it. And I'm really happy that I did because sometimes it's hard for me to describe how I think and feel and manifest when it comes to social situations. And I feel like the more that I dig into a topic, the more I realize that I have more to learn about myself. And it's good to see that there's someone out there putting this stuff out there that I can relate because it's stuff that is relevant to me, but I wouldn't have thought about mentioning that because it's such a deep world. So, one of the things that I saw was that the downfall of being my friend is that I only like to hang out like once or twice a month and communicate very little. The upside of being my friend is that you can ignore me for like 2 weeks or more and I won't be mad because I didn't even notice. For me, it's not that I won't be mad because I didn't notice. I won't be mad because when I declare you and I as being tight, that bond lasts forever. Like, you would have to do something incredibly catastrophic for me to completely eliminate you from my life. So, the fact that I look at you as a friend at all should feel like a huge achievement for anybody. Then, the picture that accompanied it was like some man on a board doing that. And then, another one that I saw from an account called All About Introverts is when everybody's going through drama, but you're antisocial, so nothing happens to you. And it's a picture like that. So that goes two ways for me. I do agree with that, but at the same time, it's not necessarily that I turn my back on drama because drama is going to happen to everybody. But what I mean is that the stuff that I actually have to worry about is stuff that I'm meant to worry about. It's not like I got caught in a storm because I was hanging out with the wrong crowd. And the reason I say it like that is because it's still important for you to go through stuff in life because that's the stuff that builds you up, builds your character, and the more that you turn away from things like that, at some point I look at it as you become trapped in your own personality. So if you only like to hang out with people who sing the same thing that you sing, you don't allow opportunities to think differently. And if you ask me, I think that one of the problems in this country, at least, is that there is a huge mental deficit, and that mental deficit is contributing to an intellectual decline, and that intellectual decline is resulting in people getting offended so goddamn fucking easily. And I hate that. Like, you have no idea how many rounds I have had with people lately because I'm having a perfectly fine, mature, like perfectly normal ass conversation that I'm thinking I'm speaking to an adult about, and this adult resorts to fucking childish behavior. So, how do we even begin to tackle that? And I think that part of the problem is that people have become too comfortable because they get catered to a lot. So, as an introvert, as you can see, I'm able to think about all that because I have actually trained and practiced and exercised my brain to think. So, out of that little meme, look at all of the thoughts that I was able to share. But people who tend to have very limited outlooks because they get too comfortable in remaining superficial, this is what I'm talking about. I want to be the person who doesn't fall for that trap. If that didn't make sense, I promise you one day I'll like post a video in which I dig even deeper into that because I really think it's important. It got so bad that it was like affecting the quality of my life. Another post I saw from Introvert Problems is socializing in a work environment that you don't want to be in is more exhausting than the actual work itself. And that I can 100% agree with, because sometimes I have to physically take myself out of the social situation. And if the people somehow come back to being in my area, I physically shut down my space and head over to someone I trust and sit down with them and be like, hey, this is what people are talking about out there. It's stressing me out and it's overwhelming me. So this is why I'm walking away from it. But what do you think? When I say that, when I say, what do you think? I am making myself vulnerable to getting either schooled or getting supported. Sometimes I get schooled, and what I mean by that is that whoever I'm talking to might say, well, Zam, you have to understand that you cannot control every single situation you ever encounter, and sometimes the stuff people say will be uncomfortable for you or whatever. We're not saying be okay with it, but we're saying that it's important for you to learn to adapt to situations. You don't have to like it, but learn to survive in it. And after someone said that to me, once my outlook changed. Now I don't immediately run away from issues, but I can identify when something is survivable and when something gets too out of control to where it becomes either a dangerous situation or just something that I just absolutely must avoid. But I went from being an absolute avoider to being someone who's like, you know what? I can take this. I can take things that rough me up a little bit, but it takes practice. And I don't see a lot of people doing that. The people at work who stress me out are the people who complain about things that they are either not understanding because they don't take the time to talk to the corresponding figures about it, or because they don't do a lot of self reflection. And it seems like they complain about everything and everything is everybody else's fault. But when you get to know this person in many different settings, you realize that there is a lot that this person could be doing to make their situation better, but they're not doing that. For some reason, they're not going like, you know what? I do suck at customer interactions, as opposed to feeling frustrated by the customer not knowing how to handle their phones or something. Maybe I should just swallow my pride and remember what I'm here getting paid for, which is to take care of the customer. So if I have to spend an extra 5 minutes with them explaining to them how to use their own fucking phone, I just do it because I have 7 hours to go in my shift. I ain't going nowhere. So, that's what I mean. I like to be the kind of person who's like, okay, I get frustrated. I know that's a weakness. Who can I talk to give me advice on how to become better at this? I don't expect that after today, I'll dominate the situation, but at least I humiliated myself and admit that I suck at something. And as opposed to trying to blame the other party for not being suitable for me, it's like people are different. And how can I learn to navigate through those differences? But nowadays, I just see a lot of people who like to drown at the shore. Just don't do that. All About Introverts posted, people who say go big or go home usually underestimate my willingness to go home. Like, it's literally my only goal. I can say that I'm the kind of person who I will take being at home any day over going anywhere, really. So I can sort of relate to that. And hey, Holger, I see you. I'm doing all right. I'm not doing as terrible as I was in the past 10 days or so. I had a terrible week beginning 2 Tuesdays ago, not last Tuesday, but the Tuesday before. It was like I took a bath with salt water because everything I did, everything I was saying, everything I was trying was going wrong for me. I was in a lot of emotional pain. But at least today, I can say that when it comes to my mood, it's shining as brightly as the sun. And there's a side of me that goes, could I really be one of those people who has mood problems? But then I thought about it, I wrote it down, and I said, no, legitimately, I had been attacked from many directions. and it just overwhelmed me for some time. And all I did was just recognize that, okay, this is the stuff that I'm good at, this is the stuff that I'm not so good at. Let me just get through this, and hopefully this will be like the last time, at least for a long while, before this happens to me again. But basically what was happening was that too many demands were expected of me, something like that. And I'm just not used to that. And then the part where I said that people tend to have misunderstandings and do a very little self reflecting, and like not have patience with dissenting thoughts, feelings, and opinions. That's what I was dealing with. And that's something that for me can get overwhelming, because I cannot say that I have ever developed a way to be able to really make up with people, I guess. It's like, okay, a disagreement happens, an argument happens, I defend myself, you defend yourself, but then what? Like, then the awkward silences come about. And I'm just not a person who's a chicken about exploring situations like that. But when you're dealing with a person who's unwilling to see that about themselves, what do you do? Like, my entire life has pretty much been introspection and self reflection. But when you deal with someone who doesn't do any of that, it becomes difficult because all they want to do is be defensive. So now I'm trying to learn the art of dealing with the person who gets offended very easily. And in the near future, I'll have a topic about that, because I'm pretty sure that someone out there is going to shine light on me and empower me with what I need to hear, both about myself and possibly about what I'll share, that is going to make me better. And that's what I look forward to. But unfortunately, I'm not ready for that yet. Glad to hear that you're doing better. Shit, I'm glad to say that I'm doing better, because I was kind of starting to get worried about myself, because I mean, I hate it when I feel that way. There's nothing that should make me feel that miserable. But when I do, I just do not know what to do with myself. And at least I learned about myself from the perspective of areas of opportunity for me. But also, I wish that other people would take me seriously when I tell them that they have areas of opportunity too. But I can never get my point across because this person simply doesn't like listening to things like that. And it just sucks. But at least that's not happening now. I'm away from them. Like, beautiful weather. And I feel like I am part of the weather, you know? Hello, Jay. Nice to see you live. It's been a while. Yes, you have no idea how much I've been thinking about this, because all of the nights that I kept thinking, okay, I'm going to stream, I got this, I'm ready, I got something really cool that I'm thinking about that I really want to go over. Like, I just did not have a soul to be able to carry it out. And on top of that, my phone has been acting weird. Like, sometimes it completely loses reception and it goes into some weird SOS mode that I didn't enable or whatever. Like, I wasn't in danger, but I went online and I saw that some other people had said that their phone was doing that. So either my phone is dying, or my reception is just crap at the moment, or I don't know, it's the beginning of the end. But what I did was I rolled out somewhere to kind of borrow their Wi-Fi, and then I said, okay, I have this topic that I'm really excited about, but I don't want to create a giant ass video that I'm gonna feel compelled to edit. So I told myself, whatever I can get done, like from streaming, that's gonna be it. No editing, nothing, no controlling of the environment. So y'all may hear noise. This is the South, so there's going to be trucks, there's going to be people like walking around. I have zero control of this, but I'm not going to be afraid of that. So yeah, and then I happen to be on Twitter, in case you guys missed what I was saying as soon as I started the stream. I was on Twitter and I found this really super awesome introvert space like account, and I thought, man, I can relate to so many of the things that they're saying, and I want to share that with people so bad, because lately most of my challenges have been social. So if I can use this as a tool to put it out there, and then people get to understand me better, and I just have the experience of expressing myself, then I think that it does wonders. I don't know, streaming and making videos is incredibly therapeutic for me, because there's no way that I'm going to like probably be able to afford really seeing somebody for this type of thing. You see what I'm saying? So this works for me, so I'm going to continue to do the things that work for me. How about that? It's hard to be the person to apologize or make peace by stopping the argument. I actually have a pending video that, of course, pending, meaning I haven't seen it, but it says something about how to de-escalate an argument or ways to like quiet down an argument, something like that. And then there's another one about how to deal with a person who gets defensive. But again, I don't like to watch something unless I'm in the proper headspace for it. And what I mean by that is I don't necessarily want to wait for the perfect moment for me to get information. It's just that I have discovered that there are times in which I'm better suited for a specific lesson, and I'm more able to retain it and apply it. But if I learn it right after the trauma happened, it's like, okay, I hear it, but after the trauma happens, I'm looking for comfort. And even if I get the tool to resolve that issue or kind of help from it happening again, keep it from happening again, like I don't learn as well when I'm under stress. So it's kind of like when you're driving and you have a near miss and you get all kinds of tight and like stressed. At least that's what happens to me. Like at that moment in time, I'm not trying to indulge in more adrenaline ridden activities. So when it comes to learning about social things, say conflicts to resolve at work, I don't necessarily immediately go to someone to coach me about what's happening. I have to like calm down for about 10 minutes to an hour and then I recur to the resource. But if I get bombarded with this information immediately, I get overwhelmed. And something that I learned to accept about myself as of 2-3 weeks ago is that I get stressed out easily. And I get stressed out easily when there are life-changing events that happen and I'm by myself dealing with them, and I just cannot take that kind of pressure because it's not really what I was bred or raised for. So to further explain that, I'm currently having to kind of take care of mom because she had a procedure. I don't remember if I shared that with you guys, but she had a procedure and we are pretty much by ourselves. She needs so much help, but it's help on stuff that I would expect she doesn't need help. And because she's been doing that to me, it's been stressful because I'm like, okay, I can expect that you need help physically, like say getting you things, moving things around for you, lifting things for you, bringing things closer to you. I can handle that. But I cannot handle the management of your personal matters. Do you guys remember that one video where I went off about insurance? Well, that was something that happened to her. But she was asking me to take care of that. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not you. I cannot impersonate you because that's illegal. So don't ask me to call somebody and pretend that I'm you so that I can get information. Like, no. And then she said, but Zam, I'm really stressed and overwhelmed. And I'm like, I am so sorry, Mom, but this belongs to you. You're here, you're at home, you're recovering, you got nowhere to be. So like, just do what you can. But that is what I'm not used to. And I also became very angry and resentful. And this happened within the past 2 weeks. I became resentful that because I'm by myself with her and I'm all she has, then because no one in the family is fucking close, I'm the person she is counting on. And it's like, did you breed me to become your future assistant? No! So how was that fair? I felt like I was not respected. And if you guys heard me maybe like 2-3 videos ago, how I sounded like stuffy or I had a raspy voice or something, I got sick. I hadn't been sick in 2 fucking years. So that goes to show that I was having trouble taking care of myself. But for some reason, if I express that I'm having trouble taking care of myself, it's like, oh, but it's not as bad as it could have been, or it's not too bad, or whatever. I'm like, no, 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 no. My tragedy should not be comparable to yours. So that's the kind of shit that makes me kind of like hang out in my own shell. And I'm like, I just don't trust people. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm not attacking my mom. She did not ask for this at all. I would love to support her, but understand, I'm trying to manage businesses, my job, resting, which by the way, I wasn't getting any fucking sleep. Last night was the first night I slept like the entirety of the night. Something that's been happening to me is I sleep 2 hours, fucking wake up, toss and turn for 1 hour, sleep maybe half hours, wake up again, and then sleep 1 more hour. And next thing I know, my fucking alarm is going off. Like, you don't think that I'm stressed? You don't think I suffer? You don't think So that's what makes it difficult. It's like, who can I open up to about myself, about how to take care of myself without them making me feel like I don't have a right to feel that way because somebody else has it worse. So that's why I hate the fact that my family's not here. It's like, you motherfuckers are over there, like ways away. You're not here. You're not seeing any of that. You're not going through any of that. And everything is falling on me. I don't have children for a reason because I don't want to take care of someone else. But here I am taking care of somebody else. And on top of that, you have no idea how expensive this shit has been. Because there's a lot of stuff that I have had to pick up the tab. And I'm probably never going to get paid back for that. And if you guys remember, I'm not exactly rich. So I also resent that I'm using my hard-earned resources and I'm not being compensated for it. And a lot of it is resources that I provide for others that I'm not even going to take advantage of. See what I mean? Like, stuff is getting more expensive, but it's not that it's my personal consumption or that I'm benefiting from it in any way. So, like, again, I don't like to be this way. I like to be a loving person, like, hey, this is someone I love and care for and whatnot. But I want people to understand where my sentiments come from. If I'm not eager and excited about jumping into action and being a caretaker. No! Like, doesn't anybody care about my goddamn future? I don't have a plan about how to ensure my survival in the future. It's rough and difficult out here. So when is anybody going to take the time to sit down with me and be like, Zam, you know what? Let's arm a plan with you, for you. Because that isn't happening, I'm taking the initiative to do that shit. That's where my anger comes from. But anyways, maybe one day I'll be brave and I'll share with you guys more about that. But like, I hope that it is understood that elder care in this situation is not what I have been trained for, and I don't think is something that I should be navigating alone. But here I am doing just that, and surprise to no one, not handling it well. That's what this is about. So yeah, but in conclusion, with that matter, my mom is doing fine. Her therapies are going well. She's recovering, and she says that she's feeling better every single day that passes. So like, I'm glad that the worst of the storm happened, but in the future, this may happen again. Like, she may need another procedure or something because we get old and we get sick and we break down and shit. What's going to happen then? Because this is the second time that I go through this. There won't be a third time. And that's what I'm trying to like prepare for and like chill out from. But it's so hard, guys. Like, like I'm already not like a very mentally healthy person. And now you're going to add this to no. So anyways, if you guys were wondering what the fuck happened to me in the past 2 weeks that I keep mentioning, that was part of it. Of course, there's some other stuff, but like, I think that the one that overwhelmed me and frustrated me the most had to be this one. Because again, I was alone and I don't like to air my dirty laundry. But I find that when I do talk about it, shit gets better. And I need to like allow myself to like open up and, I don't know, get help or whatever. And Holger has given 50. Oh, 50. Thanks, Holger. You've been so sweet and nice to me. Thanks for your support. But yeah, you guys have no idea. Like, in fact, topics like that is something that I need to get better with. Like when I get defensive and upset and angry, that seems to be the topic that triggers me. My fucking family. Like every time I think of my family and I talk about them, that's the thing that I get super defensive about. And like they honestly, to an extent, do not deserve the level of rage that I feel toward them sometimes. But the only reason that continues to happen is because of the unresolved matters that we have. So that's why it's important that when you go through challenging things with people, resolve it as quickly as possible, because you don't know how much damage this is just doing to relationships. And I'm that person. I'm that person who I like to tackle it no matter how difficult it gets, no matter how terrible the topic is or how traumatic it was. I want to tackle it, but I need to know that the other person is also willing to do that and not walk away from the discussion when the discussion is becoming critical, and like when the opportunity for learning and growth is there. That's what I'm saying when I say that people just don't do a lot of self-reflecting and stuff like that. So yeah. So anyway, thanks a lot. For me, that's definitely going to be some help to relieve me from some of the shit that I have been through lately. Conflict resolution is a great skill to have. It will help you in your job and in your personal life. Yes, on the note of personal life, I definitely need that, because I'm telling you, in my personal life, and I know this happens with everybody, but I have learned that I'm dealing with characters that are unnecessarily strong. And when I think about it, it could be that those people too have unresolved conflicts. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, well, when does that get addressed, you know? And I think that for a lot of the people I'm thinking about, as I discuss this, they don't take the time to set time aside for moments like that. Like, I understand that we live busy lives, difficult lives. The last thing we want to do is chat about difficult things. But thinking from a religious perspective, I like to look at it as peace has never been achieved without conflict. So maybe these storms that I create when I ask the questions that I ask about somebody, where it looks like I'm attacking your character, you shouldn't look at it as an attack on your character. You should look at it more as, you know what? I'm glad that you're asking me that difficult question. I find that I really do not have an answer for that because I haven't thought about it. And when you say that you haven't thought about something, I feel like that should signal to you that you have to spend some time to think. And there are some people who I know that I ask things about themselves, and they legit tell me that they don't know what to say. And I'm thinking, what do you mean you don't know what to say? This is self reflection, introspection, like things about yourself that you should really like care about, because you live in this planet with more people and this may get in the way of things. Like, what? But then I have to think to myself, as someone who has been introverted, and I guess someone who missed out on a normal development, like say I wasn't that kid who played any sports or had really an opportunity to really network, and spent all of her summers from school alone. I guess I had the time to be with myself, by myself, and learn to not go crazy in my own company. So sometimes when I ask people these questions, only an individual who spends good quality time with themselves would be able to do that. And I guess without me knowing, that's what I have been doing this entire time. And maybe that's what led up to me being this way. Whereas these people who I can think of, they have spent too much time out there bullshitting. Because when I hear them say that they really don't have the time to do these things, I think if you don't have the time to do something, I think it's because you need a manager. You need time. So what I have done is I have bestowed upon somebody in different areas of my life with the authority to call me out on my bullshit. I have my personal life manager, I have my work manager. Like, what I mean by that is the manager from work who manages my character. I don't mean my actual manager. It's like, this is the person who I trust at work to observe me and be like, Zam, these are the things you do well, but these are the things you drop the ball at. And then when it comes to like internet trends and behaviors and conduct and topics, I have another manager for that as well. Because let me tell you, navigating the internet for me, sometimes it's hard because it's such an evolving landscape. Like, the best way I can describe it is people see something online and they move on from it really quickly only to bring it up when it's convenient at the worst possible time. And I think that's such a vicious cycle. So, because I don't partake in that, it's like I need an internet manager because it's getting intense out here. I must rehydrate. Whoa! Because if I start coughing, you guys don't want any of that. So yeah. Man, I lost connection. I am so sad I lost connection. But what I said was that yes, it is difficult, it is stressful. I'm working and taking care of her, but I need to learn to make sacrifices too because, okay, she did them for me because, I mean, let's face it, you're a parent, it's your responsibility and your duty. But going through this definitely helps me value other things too. And maybe I needed to be shaken up in this way a little bit in my personal life to, once again, give shape to my character. But I can do that once. And then maybe in 5 years it happens again. And okay, we go through this again. But her first procedure was in October. And her next one happened in January. So, you know, like, I haven't had time to, like, have time for myself. I haven't had time to have time for myself. So yeah, so like I'm upset, I'm resentful, and when mom gave me some, say, challenging expectations, I told her, Ma, when you were my age, what the fuck were you doing? I bet you that you were not taking care of any elders. Were you taking care of any elders? No. So consider the season that I am in my life versus what you were going through when you were my age. How does that make you feel? And then she was like, well, you're right. And my life was different. And I definitely did not have these worries. My worries were different. I still had worries, but yeah, you're right. Like, I wasn't taking care of my parents. And I'm like, yeah, your parents were together. So maybe, unfortunately, you made the decision of rejecting so many people that now you hit an age, you hit a new season in your life, and you're not really prepared for it. And now you're overwhelming me because I'm all I have. And unfortunately for me, I am going to remain faithful to you because that's just in my nature. But also, I cannot exactly break up with my parents. See what I mean? So, like, I had to get that rough with her. I had to be that difficult with her. But she's not alone. There are other people I have talked to who I have had to keep it real with. And I don't like to be that person. I like to be pleasant. I don't like to feel like I have to fight and be a warrior all the time. But again, maybe I have to be present in these people's lives because my character, my personality, my way of questioning is what these clowns need to get better. But I also look at it as it's just not nice because I don't like to be critical. I wouldn't want to have someone be that critical of me. But I only become critical when it's affecting me. I hope that's fair. And honestly, I cannot give you an answer for that. Like, if you ask me, Zam, how does that make you feel? I'm like, I cannot tell that I'm doing the right thing. I cannot tell that I'm doing the wrong thing. But at least what I know is that I'm doing something that I hadn't ever done before, and that was standing up for myself. And all of my best friends, like along the years, as the years have gone by, they have always told me, Zam, you need to learn to defend yourself. You need to learn to stop accepting abuse. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I, you guys remember the video where I said, have I been gaslit? Those examples that I gave, that shit happened to me. It was real. And at the time that it was happening, I was not defending it at all. Like, I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't defending myself. So now that I do value myself a little bit and I'm trying to respect myself a little bit, like, I am afraid of what I may become if I don't keep myself in check. Put it that way. Like, I don't want to be that person who's continuously fighting, because if I wanted that, I would go to fucking law school or something. Like, sure, I'll become a lawyer and defend people or whatever, but I'm not like that. Like, it's not, I don't like to be judgmental, and this is a form of being judgmental. But maybe it's time for me to finally blow up, because maybe that's what the people around me need, and maybe that's what I need too. But see what I mean? I wouldn't want for that to alter my behavior in a way that I lose myself. Because, like someone once said to me, and I understand this very well, there is a very fine line between loving and hating. And I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want to be the next story of, like disastrous outcomes. Holger, very kind donation. That's true. I still can't get over that. Thanks again. Your bright colored champion sweatshirt is very cool looking. Thanks. I don't wear it very often, and I said, holy crap, I need to start wearing the things that are for winter time that I haven't worn, because I'm trying to get rid of everything that I officially don't wear. Like, if this season ends and I notice something that I didn't wear, I probably never am going to wear it again. There's stuff I haven't worn in like 5 years. So yeah, I should consider definitely downsizing. I think that you would be a great lawyer. Fun fact about me, when I was in 8th grade, I contemplated that a little bit, but I was more into acting. But then in 10th grade, I guess my civics class inspired me a lot. Plus the comments that my mom used to make about how I am very good at arguing. She said that I should be like a prosecutor. And I said, I could see myself being a judge, because I feel like I can take the time to read something, absorb all of the points, listen to what each party has to say. But just like teaching, the courtroom is not exactly structured in a way that is realistic, in my opinion. Like, I feel like I would be a good teacher if you give me absolute control and independence at how I go about educating. But if you're going to give me a standard course of study and final exams and metrics, like, that's bullshit. That's not how we manifest. But if you allow me to get to know all of those humans, like adults in progress, and let me discover who they are and, what is it, add oxygen to their fire, like discover what may be their calling, then hell yeah, I can do that. So if I were to be a judge or in the courtroom, I like to get to know things organically. But there are so many ways that you can take something and find loopholes legally. I don't agree with that. And what about the age old question of, say, in cases that are extreme, no amount of compensation is going to give someone their health back or their life back or their lost possessions back, depending on what it is. So how do I even begin to provide like a very fair, verdict for that? I don't know. I don't know. It sounds like ideal, But when I think about it critically, I feel like it would be one of those things where I feel like I wouldn't be satisfied because those questions would haunt me. So yeah, you guys, I definitely went off on a tangent there, so I'm gonna try to catch up with what I was reading about introverts, but it really helped me to vent about what was happening because I feel like if I'm venting about it, it's because I have become confident about it and accepted it and healed from it. But yeah, it got rough. And because it got rough, now I know that I have areas of opportunity and I just want to address that as soon as possible. When you are an introvert, being sent to your room as a kid was never really the worst punishment. That is so true. Anyone else look out their window when it's raining and think it's a beautiful day? Oh God, yes. You guys know that I like rainy weather. Introverts preparing for a phone call. It's a photo montage of, what is it? Rocky training, like jogging and punching the sandbag and deadlifting and whatever that other picture is. I don't know what those things are. Never underestimate my desire at any given moment to go home. That is true. I'm an introvert. I'm not shy. I am a thinker. I am an observer. I'm not stuck up. I'm not antisocial. I treasure my solitude. I'm not a fan of small talk. I prefer a few close friends. I am reserved until I am not. I appreciate true connection. If we connect, you matter to me. That is super true. And I'm officially that age, or at that age, when, ugh, right. When if something is too loud, I'm irritated. So you guys saw how I tripped there? It's because I have someone who just pulled up next to me and they have their music or whatever they're listening to kind of loud. So it broke my focus a little bit. But yes, last night I happened to be out having dinner and I don't eat in at restaurants for this reason, but I decided to be like, sure, I'll challenge myself. But it got so freaking loud that I couldn't hear myself think. And when I can't hear myself think, I just trip big, like big time. It's a big deal. And like I physically felt myself stressing out and I started like tapping my foot and like I had a bracelet that makes a clicking sound if I like open it and close it again. And I said, if I can tune into something, I'll be okay. So I decided to choose that as my weapon. But I hate that. I hate noise. I hate it when someone rings my doorbell because I have to drop whatever I'm doing to be silent and pretend I am not home. Oh my God, I learned to do that when I was a kid because Ma would sometimes leave us home alone. And I always thought to myself, okay, if I must not be detected, then I have to make it to the door to examine who it is, but also making sure that I don't make my an existence known. But I also feel like if the person ringing the doorbell has bad intentions and they hear a noise inside the home, then that ought to deter them from doing something stupid because then they know the house is not abandoned. What do you guys think about that one? What's the best thing to do? Should you let your presence known or should you remain discreet and not let your presence known? What's worse, you know? I can't tell. And please don't say it depends. I want to hear a real answer. But if you say it depends, I don't blame you because that's what I'm thinking. I am introverted. This means if I see you in public and have a chance to pass by you without you seeing me, I will take that chance. I do that all the time. Like Walmart is the center where the entire time, what do? You speed walk, wear a mask, go straight to the things that you need, check out, speed walk back to the car, and be on your merry way. But this does happen to me. And the way it happens to me is that a lot of people tell me that they saw me at places. And yeah, that was me. I know it was me. But I'm like, I never saw you because I'm not looking for you. If I were looking for you, I would text you and be like, hey man, I want to see you. Let's meet up. But I didn't do that, right? Nor did you. So why the fuck would I hang out with you if we didn't plan for that? No! I don't have time for you. So anyway, me around people, me around those two people I'm comfortable with, and this is what that looks like. Introvert during conversation, 70% talking, no, I'm sorry, 70% listening, 20% thinking, and 10% talking. You don't talk much, do you? Me. Tries to talk. Gets interrupted, no one cares, gets talked over, gets ignored. Yes, the people who I describe as being defensive and not being very good listeners, it is that exact bullshit that they do to me. You're not listening, you interrupt me, that tells me you don't care, and if I tell you that you don't care, you get angrier, and you outright ignore me sometimes. Like, you stay silent. So I'm like, okay. Trust me, I can play the silent treatment game better than anybody. Try me. The funny thing about introverts is once they feel comfortable with you, they can be the funniest, most enjoyable people to be around. It's like a secret they feel comfortable sharing with you, except the secret is their personality. Yes, I have been told over the years that they didn't have any idea that I was so charismatic, energetic, and to a certain degree funny. I don't consider myself a funny person, but for some reason, everybody I know in person tends to find shit that I say funny. And I'm like, okay, maybe if you were to tell me back my own joke that I just told you, maybe I would find that funny, but maybe coming from myself, I cannot recognize it as funny. Does that make sense? But yeah, for me, I'm not sure if I have ever uttered this on the channel, but I have always thought and said to my closest people that I like to, in a sense, make myself valuable, feel myself valuable, because I treat myself like I'm my most important treasure. So why would I exhibit my most important treasure? When you leave things out in public, it has the potential of being vandalized, disrespected, things like that. So why would I make my personality public if it has the potential of being disrespected, attacked? Not everybody is deserving of my character, put it that way. So why would I make something that is a treasure, something that is sacred, public? It just doesn't make sense to me. But at the same time, I try to be careful about not crossing the arrogant line. But also, I just want for that to be understood. Like, um, it's kind of like what makes me very reserved and conservative. Like, when I'm seeing somebody, when I'm in a relationship with someone, I have to respect them. I owe them respect. So I'm not going to, like, say, exhibit my body in ways, like I'm always that person who's like dressed and like I don't like to show a lot of my body, put it that way, because I feel like I owe respect to somebody, but also I owe respect to myself. I know that if I do things like that, people are going to have thoughts. So why would I not protect myself from potential dangerous thoughts? See what I mean? So my personality is not different from that. My personality is an extension of my mind, body, soul. If I am proud to have a healthy mind, have a healthy body, and have a healthy soul, my personality is rooted from those things. Because let's say if I were physically disabled, there are some things about my personality that would suddenly be capped. There's some stuff that I just like to do. Say, if I go blind, all of a sudden, there's some stuff that I won't be able to project as well as I used to. If I'm not able to walk anymore or stand, there is a lot of mannerisms that I perform to the squad in real life that, I can only be like that if I have mobility. But if I don't protect myself, if I don't take care of myself, then my personality will suffer. See what I mean? So because I understand that all of that is connected, then I do my darnedest to protect it. So, like, the three people who I can say I'm extremely tight with in my life, it's like you three are the chosen ones for a reason. So I hope that you cherish that, but also understand how big of a deal it is. Even though in my world does not like affect the rest of the world. Like, I could be gone tomorrow from this earth and like everything will continue to flow as normal. But I know that I have had an impact on a small number of people. And by extension, those small number of people being affected, it can lead to a little bit of a chain effect, chain reaction. So that is how I feel like I have left a good legacy. Because I have no doubt that these people would be very deeply affected if I were absent from their lives. So why would I not want to, protect that, treasure that? And why wouldn't they want to protect and treasure that? Does that make sense? Let's see. I'm off to work. Have a great day. You too. Have a good day, Holger. And thanks again. Judge Zambri has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? I'm telling you, like, had you guys met me during that era of my life, yeah, you would have totally seen it because I was legit about it too. I was seriously considering it. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna go to law school. I love to investigate. I love to write. I love to interview. I love to read things and dissect them and pull them apart and throw my opinion in there and like resolve conflicts and whatever. But then I thought, nah, it's not what it seems. I'm also an introvert. All great artists are introverts. That's a lie. It's not entirely true because there's great artists, I'm sure, who would be extroverts. But look, I think that introvert folks inherently have an edge with certain things because introverted people know how to shut the fuck up. And you have no idea how much you can protect yourself from getting in trouble or making something worse when you shut the fuck up. Like, say, when you give too much information to the Leos, to like law inform, enfor, ugh, law enforcing officers, like policemen, whatever the fuck, shut the fuck up. Like, if you're being detained, shut the fuck up. But people tend to think that their situation is going to be made better if they reveal a lot. No, like, Leos work for the state. The state is trying to prove you guilty. You're already an innocent person until proven guilty. So why on God's green earth would you try to prove your innocence if you, as far as we're concerned, are innocent? Naturally, inherently, until we prove you otherwise. So, like, it is the job of these clowns to prove you guilty. So why on God's green earth would you give them the means to your destruction? It never works for you. That's why when they read you your Miranda rights, they say, oh, anything that you say can and will be used against you. Against you. Not for you, not for your benefit, not to, favor you, against you. These people are against you. So shut the fuck up. Shut up. And then when it comes to my personal life, even if I had a great weekend, even if I went on a trip or something, I don't tell anybody. Like when I was away last July, I didn't tell a single soul except, let's see, my brother and my best friend and another friend. Nobody else. Nobody else. And to this day, I still haven't told anybody else. It was great. It's awesome. Not everybody has to be all up in my business. See what I mean? So just know that there are situations in which pleading the fifth is just the way to go. So introverts, I feel like inherently do so much better at that. Like, because we're not willing to just give out info, we're more likely better to defend, better suited to defend, but also may come out with the best outcome. Or may have the better outcome. I was redundant there. Introvert allergies, social obligations, phone calls, group of more than 3 people. Oh my God, yes, 3 people, including myself, is optimal. I don't like groups that are bigger than that. A talkative hairdresser, hosts that force you to stay. That mess is the worst. Like, I'm ready to go, and you want me to stay a little longer? Oh God, I'm dehydrated. Breaking. Introverts don't want to tell you how their weekend was, so you can go ahead and stop asking. Thank you. Oh my God, I just said that. Let's see. I really wish it was socially acceptable to say I don't care and just walk away from the conversation. I actually do a version of that. What I do is I stay quiet and the person keeps talking and I stay quiet, and because I'm not interacting, they have no choice but be like, I'm not being stimulated socially. So they have no choice but to just leave. And speaking of Leos, a cop just walked by. That's so funny to me. Whatever. But yeah, so when I stay silent, these people usually at some point will give up and shut up, and in a sense they'll have like this embarrassed look to them. They'll feel like down, like they weren't engaged or anything, and I use that to my advantage. It's like, it's embarrassing that you went off on this tangent that I wasn't interested in, and now you have to suck it all up. Whoops. So that's what I like to do. That's my tactic. Don't entertain people. Just don't. And then they fuck off on their own. And I think that's why I have survived at my job for so long. Like, being customer service, it can be a difficult job, but the things that people complain about that happen to them literally never happened to me. And what I observe when I happen to witness a difficult, like, what is it, conversation between someone I know and a customer, it's because all they had to do was either blame themselves to appease the customer, but don't make it about you. Don't be arrogant. Like, swallow your pride. As tempting as it is to roast this person for being stupid, that's not your job. Just help them get through the situation. And if you can make it to where they don't feel embarrassed, you win. You win. Trust me, you win. But you have to make that outcome possible. But when you start arguing with them, you're going to lose. That's it. Like, when was the last time I shared with you guys that I had a legitimate, serious, ginormous meltdown, customer meltdown? It's been very long. And that's why. Like, I have had the occasional person who, like, gets out of control a little bit, but it was because of their headspace at the moment anyway. But don't entertain people. And a lot of the people who say that they get like bothered by people, regardless of what the matter is, I feel like sometimes you are guilty of that because you entertained the person. Even if you want to just have like a casual friend or something like that, not everyone is equipped to handle that. So sometimes I do think that it is the fault of the person by a little bit, depending on how long you allowed for something to continue. And the way you allow for something to continue is to entertain it. See what I mean? So anyway, let's see. Note to introverts: for every person who thinks you're too quiet, there's someone else who thinks you're an amazing listener. A lot of people say that I'm a very good listener. There is probably like 3 people in the world who I can hang out with for more than 4 hours without getting annoyed. Yes. Also, it's super sad that there's 3 people in the world I would love to spend more time than I ever get to spend time with. And that's one of my deepest sorrows in my life. Introverts are actually talkative when they get comfortable with someone, and I'm sad that the next one is not loading for me. And I think I made a mistake. I clicked on it, and yeah, I might have lost connection from my phone because I don't see anything loading. So hopefully the stream still goes, but yep. Introverts are just the kind of people who would prefer to be around one good mind rather than 100 empty ones. Yes! Superficial people! Usually, the bigger the number, just the worse it gets. I hate when people ask me, why are you so quiet? Because I am. That's how I function. I don't ask others, why do you talk so much? It's rude. Oh my God. Yes! I want to say that to people so bad. I want to ask them, why the fuck do you talk so much? And you happen to talk a lot about nothing. At least if you're going to say stuff with substance. I can be that person. I can be that person who, once I start, and it's something that I'm knowledgeable and excited about, I can keep going. But sometimes the talkative people don't really add much. I need more water. Sometimes you meet someone and you know from the first moment that you want to spend your whole life without them. Yes, 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 yes. I just need 8 to 10 hours of peace, quiet, and alone time in the morning, and then I am recharged and ready to tackle the day. I hate the misconception that introverts don't like talking. If you're the right person, we'll talk to you for hours on end about pretty much anything. However, it is incredibly difficult to find the right people. So, for the most part, we probably just stay quiet. My first instinct when I see an animal is to say hello. My first instinct when I see a person is to avoid eye contact and hope it goes away. So true. Introverts are like a slow website. They might be the coolest site, but usually don't wait long for them to open. Extroverts are like pop ups. That's a very good way to analyze it. Please be as weird as me. Please be as weird as me. Please be as weird as me. Me every time I meet somebody. That's true. I can say I've done that. Well, unfortunately, it does look like I lost connection there, as you can see. But I think I went over the best ones, the more compelling ones. I'm going to try to see if I can fire up the connection again. But more than likely, this may be it for me, and I may need to bail. Um, I just saw an eyelash fall on top of my phone screen. Oh, I'm supposed to be connected again. Let's see how true that is. But also, even if I'm connected, loading may be super slow, so. Ugh. I hate when I get my nose stuffy because it's gross. But that's when I know that the conversation has been good, if it's been getting me emotional. But also, I have been dealing with some allergies, and since I've been outside, I probably exposed myself to something. See, that's what I'm waiting on, the fucking spinning circle of connection death. Yeah, I probably lost connection, even if it says I'm logged into Wi-Fi. My eyes are watery. Something is hitting me. That's why I keep kind of winking with my left eye. Yeah, I think this is the end, you guys. I'm sorry, but I feel like we definitely had good ones. Do you find that hard to ask your boss to for a raise as well? No, because the way that we deal with that, it happens to be pretty well structured, in my opinion. We are scheduled to have that conversation, and then usually I find that my score is pretty fair. I cannot complain at all about the results from that like screening that happens every year where they determine how much your race is gonna be. And honestly, I feel like I get paid pretty fairly already because I have held on to my job for so long that every year the wage has been going up. So compared to what everybody else gets paid for a similar job to what I do, I feel like I'm being paid as a valuable person. And then the next time that I do what is it? What do you call that? I just said the word. Anyway, the next time I get critiqued again, it'll put me on the next dollar. So I'm proud of that. It used to be that when I was new and didn't have a lot of experience, my progress was celebrated, but I wasn't entitled to as much of a raise. And my job honestly has remained about the same. Occasionally, we have a higher volume of people to take care of, but because I have so much experience and I'm in shape at the job, meaning that physically I can perform it very well, mentally I can survive it pretty well, things like that. Yeah, I'm in a pretty good position, so I'm not tripping. I don't feel like I have to fight for a raise. I feel like it's scheduled in a way that's really fair too. Just wondering, do introverted girls do introverted girls eye the man to take control? What? Oh, do introverted girls like the man to take control? Me personally, I tend to have a little bit more of dominant tendencies, but I like to be dominant in the areas where it's clear and established that I ought to be the leader. But there are some things that I feel it's better suitable for the man to be the one taking control. Um, let's see, can I exemplify this? Not really, because I would rather have the person describe it than me saying things on their behalf. Because even if I can talk about their more dominant traits, like the things they take control on, I still feel like I'm not well equipped to speak on their behalf because it's not a set in stone type of thing. So, like what I may describe today as that person being in charge, tomorrow I could be the one being in charge of that matter. See what I mean? So, I think that the relationship might be more about equilibrium. So, as long as it's fair and it doesn't seem like one person has more power over another, I don't see why there would be any frustrations in that relationship. My personal experience, the only time that my relationships became a little burdensome was when there was that difference. Like, I was doing too much of something, and then the other person might have been too absent, or then the other person was involved in too many things that I couldn't be a part of. And, so I have to think about it to give you a better answer. But I think that when it comes to the more emotional and intimate things, I think the woman tends to do a little better. But when it comes to the more leadership traits and more see the bigger picture and future building and all that, I think the man is better suited to control that. All right, you guys, well, I have to bail. That's it from me. Thank you so much for tuning in. I had a great time with this topic because this is my bread and butter. And I only wish that I wasn't kicked out so that I could continue, but I think we said enough.